Coming up next is Terry Payne with some public information you might find interesting.
862 miles. That's how much water pipe there is in the City of Hot Springs water system. That's a huge system to take care of and maintain. And today I'm with Project Manager Larry Merriman of the Engineering Division at the City of Hot Springs. And we're going to talk about detecting leaks. This is a project that's been going on for some time. And Larry, let's start off with explaining why are we trying to detect leaks in the city's water system?
Well, first and foremost would be the conservation aspect of it. We obviously want to conserve this resource that is becoming more and more important and vital as folks recognize that. Secondly, operationally, if you look at this, if you don't produce water that you don't use, then you save cost. So the non-revenue water side of it's very important to us as well. As we had talked about a little bit earlier, the AWWA, the American Water Works Association, touts that nationwide 30% of the non-revenue water is in leaks, and you can recover 50 to 75% of that by doing just what we are now, this leak survey.
Okay, so we had one phase of the leak detection survey already take place? Tell us about that.
September 2010, USA Leak Detection, the company doing this effort as well, came in and they did for us the entire 862 miles, trying to pinpoint places that we knew were going to be offenders in the future. They had large leaks, and that in fact was masking some smaller leaks.
I see. So when this entire water system was surveyed, what were the results?
The results were pretty astounding. Annually, we had an estimate of 962 million gallons a year that we were losing. And by losing, I'm talking about non-revenue water. We make that water and there's absolutely no return on it.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about what non-revenue water is then? What does that mean?
Non-revenue water is essentially water that's not billed. It's water that we produce. It goes through the distribution mains and is ultimately intended for the customer, but does not make it to the customer because of leaks within the system.
Well, now that the first phase has been completed, how did that data help prepare us for the second round of testing?
It was actually one of the best things we could have done to prepare us. What it did was it pinpointed for us the regions within the city where we had the most number and largest number of leaks. And as we stand here today, we're in an older part of the city, and historically you would suspect that this is in fact the areas you need to address, and it's because of the age of the infrastructure.
Now, when did this second study begin, and how long will it continue?
It actually began the early part of this month, February, and it will end in about 3 months. It's about a 100-day contract.
100 days. And then how much pipe is going to be assessed during this study?
We hope to get 350 plus miles within this study.
Different pipe sizes involved?
Yes, anywhere from 2-inch to 30-inch. Again, as we stand here, the one they're looking at this morning is a 2-inch main, and it's probably galvanized, which means it's old and it's decaying and falling apart. One of the things that has happened is that as you do the survey, you find out that the minute you find a large leak and repair it, that pipe is weak as well in other locations, and subsequent to that repair, you end up developing another.
So as you pinpoint the leaks and address them, are they concentrated in any particular part of town?
Again, primarily downtown. The older part of town is where we seem to have the most number of leaks.
Okay. We have a little bit of time to discuss some of the methodology that's used in this study, and I understand it's by scientific means that the leaks are detected.
Well, it is. Some of it, though, is skill set. You know, it's a learned technique and art. There are essentially 3 phases to this that USA Leak Detection utilizes. The first is the ground survey. They'll come in and they'll listen to a device like an isolation valve on the system. And then once they do that, if they hear a noise, and the noise is a vibration, you know, anything that moves through that pipe at a turn or a leak sounds as though a vibration is coming from it. Once they determine there's a vibration in the area, then they'll come down and they'll try and pinpoint it further, and they'll get, like on steel pipe, 350 feet apart, and they'll place 2 devices called correlators. Those correlators take the data, and between the 2 points, using a computer program, they determine the location that it best thinks the leak is there. You know, that particular location is then found or confirmed by a ground survey, and the crews are doing that this morning. They're between this meter box that we're standing in front of and then further up the road at a valve. And now they're going to go back to the point where the program has told them the leak is likely to be, and they'll listen at that particular point with a sounding device to ensure that that's where it is.
That's so interesting, Larry. Now, you know the water system better than most people here in Hot Springs. Is this need for detecting leaks something that you see as an ongoing need?
Yes, this is maintenance and care of a system that is very large, as you mentioned earlier. If you look at our population and the area served, we are quite the anomaly. But yes, when you deal with historic infrastructure in the entire country, I told you earlier, trillions of dollars. The AWWA estimates will be spent on infrastructure repairs for the same situations that we find ourselves in here.
It's a fascinating project, and let's visit again when Phase 2 is ended and see where we are then.
Sounds good.
All right, Larry, thank you for joining us today. And next week, we'll bring you more city news.